Thank you for staying tuned. Well, Nigerian equities market will be sounding the closing gong in a couple of minutes from now. At intraday, the index was down 0.10%. Let's get a sense of what and who are the market drivers for today. Temple Ashaju joins us now. Hello, Temple. Good afternoon. So tell me, what and who are the market drivers for today?
About 0.10% earlier. That has doubled, and it looks like it is going to continue. Chimazi, right now we're doing some 0.20% in the market, and of course that is positive. However, the major sector that is driving up the index as a few minutes ago was industrial goods sector. I think investors are beginning to take position again in Dangote Cement, and once you see such a sentiment in the market, it tells you that the market is also likely to close on the positive side of things today. If you look at the banking sector, which has been dominating the activity sector lately, so right now what we have is a negative performance. It is down some 0.48% on account of some profit taking on a couple of the names. However, you still have some of the small cap stocks in the segment, such as Diamond Bank and of course FBN Holdings is also doing well. In fact, that's the most actively traded in the market right now. But for the small cap stocks like Diamond Bank, which has seen low prices in its share price in recent times, investors have continued to take position on it, and we're seeing it right now on bid. Diamond Bank, which is up now by some 8.97%, and early trade has done some 10 to 12 million units of the shares. But for First Bank, FBN Holdings rather, FBN Holdings is the most actively traded company in the market. It's up some 0.66% in the market, and we've seen some 6 million units of the shares traded now, and that accounts for some 35% of the entire volume of shares traded so far today in the market. For the oil and gas segment, it's currently negative, and the consumer goods segment, where we've seen Nigerian
We'll sincerely apologize for that poor audio output there. Kenya's private sector expanded at a slower pace in November compared with the previous month. The market's Stanbic Bank Kenya Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing and services fell to 53.1 in November from 50.0 the previous month. A reading above 50.0 marks growth. Operating conditions for firms improved in the month, with respondents citing lower cost pressure as energy and food costs fell, but growth in output and new orders fell slightly below October's level.
Hota Beclere expertly maneuvers brightly colored fabric under the whirring needle of her sewing machine. The fabric gradually takes the shape of a beautiful outfit.
Nigeria's business confidence was higher in November at 25.9 index points compared with 23.2 index points in October. Central Bank of Nigeria's Business Expectation Survey shows that the business outlook for December shows greater confidence on the macroeconomy at 65.6 index points. According to the report, the optimism on the macroeconomy for the month under review was driven by the opinion of respondents from the services, accounting for 14.9 points, the industrial sector with 7.8 points, wholesale and retail trade with 2.6 points, and construction sector with 0.5 points. Specifically, the report indicates that respondents' outlook on the volume of total order and business activity in November remained positive, given that the index stood at 22.1 and 21.5 points when compared to 17.4 and 18.8 points recorded in the previous month. Well, let's meet a refugee tailor that's fashionably defying disability in Kenya. Hota Beclere is a refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, despite being a refugee with a physical disability, Beclere has established a successful tailoring business and is even employing other refugees. Let's watch this.
Hota Beclere expertly maneuvers brightly colored fabric under the whirring needle of her sewing machine. The fabric gradually takes the shape of a beautiful outfit. She pauses from work as Mary, a South Sudanese refugee and one of her best customers, walks into the shop. Mary runs her fingers over a beautiful burgundy dress, removes it from its hanger, and retreats to a back room where she tries it on. A refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Hota lives in Kenya's Kakuma refugee camp. She lives with a debilitating spinal condition which has left her with a curved back and limited movement from a young age. But Hota's great determination and skill with a needle have allowed her to prevail. After arriving in Kakuma, Hota worked long hours in order to set herself up.
I came from DR Congo in 2012. After 2 weeks in Kakuma, I met someone who employed me. After working for 7 months, I saved some money. I was able to buy a second-hand machine and start my own business.
Most of her clients are refugees, but she also has Kenyan clients that include staff from the various humanitarian agencies working in Kakuma.
I like Be Clear because whenever Be Clear said, come tomorrow, you come tomorrow and pick your dress when it's ready.
While the business is thriving, her condition often makes it hard for her to sew. But as usual, she hasn't let that stop her. She concentrates instead on cutting the fabric, leaving the tailors to do most of the stitching.
And in Zimbabwe, the government may allow foreign investors to hold controlling stakes in diamond mines on condition that part of their output is received for domestic downstream industries. Removing a limit on foreign ownership would signal to investors that President Emerson Mnangagwa is serious about his pledge to revive mining, which suffered years of decline under his predecessor, Robert Mugabe. The government is targeting diamond production of 12 million carats by 2023, compared with a forecast of 3.5 million carats this year. The state is considering waiving a requirement that diamond mines be 51% owned by domestic investors. The Southern African nation scrapped the rule for most mines last year, but kept the regulations in place for diamond and platinum producers. And Sudan will now allow local private sector firms to export gold, relaxing the central bank's grip over exports of the metal as the government tries to shore up the country's struggling economy. The measure is part of efforts to stem smuggling of gold, one of the country's main sources of foreign currency. Prime Minister Mutaz Musa says the central bank will take the necessary measures to ensure gold exports were channeled through the national economy. The decision applies to local private companies, as foreign gold mining companies are already entitled to export. Under the new regulations, producers will sell foreign currency revenues to the central bank. Sudan's economy has been struggling since the South ceded in 2011, taking within 3/4 of its oil output. Apart from gold, Sudan also exports livestock, sesame, and Arabic gum. And Congo's Gika Mines has signed a production sharing deal for copper and cobalt deposits with China's Hong Kong Excellent Mining Investment, which will pay a $40 million signing bonus. Congo State Mining Company said its first production sharing deal would guarantee it a significant share of annual production from the Kingamembo and Kilomusembo deposits, regardless of the financial results of the project. China is the world's largest consumer of industrial metals and has strengthened its grip over supplies from across Africa in recent years to feed its economic growth. Democratic Republic of Congo is Africa's top copper producer and the leading miner of cobalt, which is used for electric car batteries. And that's a wrap on the show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu.